Great. This is a very weird, I know how now she feels, because I cannot see, I cannot hear you, I cannot hear myself. So I'm hoping that you can hear me. Show me with a sign. Fantastic. So from Ukraine to Kenya, crossing continents, and we're going to talk about Kenya's interministerial approach. My name is Victoria Nkatha. I'll give you a bit of an introduction about myself after the short introduction. So here we go. So we are setting the context in terms of a digital leader in new expectations. Kenya currently has a 95% mobile penetration, and it has 89% internet access, where for a decade of investments and infrastructure and platforms that have been built in Kenya, we are still having challenges in terms of how our digitization collaboration is continuing, and given the fact that we have such huge penetration, mobile penetration, this should not be an issue. Now, one of the biggest challenges is the fact that we have an e-governance concern when we are not collaborating, strategically, interoperably, and from a citizen-centric approach. So one of the biggest challenges is that our government often or before had a lot of lack of coordination, a lot of friction, a lot of inefficiencies, and a lot of duplication of efforts. We'd find that because there's a lack of speaking together jointly towards making progress, you find that a lot of development, what's it called? A lot of development efforts were duplicated in different ministries, and even within ministries, there was a lot of duplication of similar efforts. So in this case, you'd find that the government would end up being a fragmented government, where different ministries are working in silos. We've seen this with Estonia, and even before they got their independence, they had to find out how do we get to a point of collaboration so that we can move as a unit towards making Estonia a great country, given the fact that there are no natural resources. Now, in Kenya, we have a lot of natural resources, but we're in the fourth industrial revolution, which is the digital era, and therefore it is very, very important for all countries to be onboarded. Now, how did we create a solution? Through the Ministry of ICT, Ministry of Interior, Kenya School of Government, and other participating bodies, we created the Inter-Ministerial Working Group. And the Inter-Ministerial Working Group supports the efforts by the government of Kenya to be able to do a whole-of-government approach. This is from the Inter-Ministerial Working Group. We support through ESTEV, which is the organization that I work for. For those who do not know ESTEV, it's the Estonian Center for International Development. We bring together partners and we help them create solutions or have a platform, not even to create, but to have a platform where we have conversations across the board and able to move the digital transformation conversation forward. Now, it is, and in the Inter-Ministerial Working Group, we have the Ministry of ICT currently leading, and the next phase we're looking at having multi-partner stakeholders to be able to lead the conversation, where other ministries also join in, and we address policy, we address interoperability, we address e-governance as a unit. It's more than a task force. It's from talk to action. A lot of the different ministries converse in different silos, but now how do we actively engage? Oh, sorry, I think I moved a bit too fast. Yes. So, our starting points or our pillars are: one, we want to erase disjointed dialogue. We want to be able to have joint sessions, collaborate, and then also share standards. You'd find that in one ministry, you have the standard of which services should look like, and in another ministry, it would be completely different. But if we gather together, we are able to create standards that cut across. If procurement standards should be in one way, it should cut across to all ministries. And those are the conversations that we are having in the Inter-Ministerial Working Group, and we look forward to even having further through the Kenya's one government approach and whole of government approach. And this now goes on to the integrated services. Each ministry is responsible for a certain service, and services have to look alike. When we talk about the eCitizen services that are being onboarded, and we will have a speaker on eCitizen, we talk about how does a service look from a Ministry of Lands. If I'm going to register for my land and my property, or even request for certain documents, how does this service look like compared to the Ministry of Health, and so on and so forth. It all has to look the same. And this is where the dialogue on data exchange frameworks, where we're also talking about interoperability with the once only principle. If I go to the Ministry of Lands, my name is Victoria. If I go to the Ministry of Health, my name is Michelle. I can choose whatever I want. But if I have a once only policy, then if I put in my name once and my identification once, it should cut across to all the other ministries. And this is one challenge that I know that Kenya is really moving forward with the one government approach in the dialogues that we are having and the discussions that we are having. Now, with that said, a case study on eCitizen and data interoperability, where we see that there needs to be infrastructure, there needs to be data exchange, and there needs to be shared standards. Kenya's vision is to integrate services for the citizens under the eCitizen platform. Now, this requires seamless data exchange, and this is a challenge given the fact that where we have come from, different, as I said before, different ministries operate in different methods and they have their own standards. But now we have a unified platform where all this has to be included, without forgetting the fact that there also needs to be change mindset and capacity building towards the public servants, so that they can also be able to adapt and not feel like certain platforms are coming to take over. Instead, get with the digital transformation so that we also can move together. And then also, how do we unify standards? And this is what the Inter-Ministerial Working Group is all about. With that said, our guiding principles are: one, whole of government approach, inspired by the ministry, by the Kenyan government, where we emphasize on collaboration, inclusivity, and all across ministries for digital service delivery. We also emphasize on citizen-centric, or what we call the human-centered approach. Often we develop solutions from a developer perspective, but we want to be able to develop solutions from a citizen perspective. So as I sit as a citizen, what exactly do I need? How I need to stop thinking like a public servant, like a developer, and start thinking like a citizen. And what do I need? When I sit down and I want to get my marriage certificate, what do I need, and how can I now develop those services from that approach? We also want to look at sustainability and scale, where we advocate for long-term growth, unified approach. When we want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. And I think this is very critical for governments across different continents to understand, especially on the African context. Now, from coordination to execution, the future is interconnected, the future is interoperable and inclusive. With that said, I don't want to take too much time. My name is Victoria Nkatha. You can meet me around, moving around. I work for the Estonian Center for International Development, or rather I serve in the Estonian Center for International Development, and I lead the Kenya operations and also the capacity building. And I have different hats. I also am doing a master's in data science and artificial intelligence. So I'm also a techie of some sort. But with that said, I want to invite two very, very good friends, but also distinguished leaders in their different capacities. First and foremost, I'll start with Professor Noura Mohammed, who's the Director General of Kenya School of Government. Director Noura, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I want you to introduce yourself.
Yes.
Take your time, introduce yourself, and tell us a bit about Kenya School of Government.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Madam Vicky. Great people, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me take this opportunity to introduce the Kenya School of Government and myself. Kenya School of Government is the regional center of excellence for not only the government of Kenya, but also for the entire region, that is the continent of Africa. It is the center of excellence that contributes to the public sector transformation through training, research, consultancy, and policy evidence-based research that then will inform the policy of the government in terms of changes, including the digital transformation. Our responsibility is to build the competency of public servants to be efficient, to be effective, to be responsive, to be agile, to be citizen-centric, to be digitally literate, as well as also artificially intelligent, that will bring about the digital transformation in Kenya. That is the Kenya School of Government. For that, therefore, then, our responsibility is to realize the government agenda. And fortunately for Kenya, the topmost leadership has translated the vision of the digital transformation to what we refer to as the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which ultimately then we will be able to realize under the pillar number 5, that is super digital highway and creative economy, that then will contribute toward the realization of that. That is the Kenya School of Government for Kenya and for the Africa and for the transformation of the whole aspect of the digital literacy in Kenya and beyond.
Thank you very much, sir. So the first thing I'd want to say, we spoke about capacity building, and I would like to ask, what role does Kenya School of Government have, and how do you see training institution support for the whole of government approach? We stated how capacity building is very, very important. What role does your school contribute towards the whole of government approach?
Thank you so much. For Kenya School of Government, one of our mandate is to build the capacity of public service through training. What we did through the support of SDEV, which we really appreciate, we are trying to import the digital literacy to the Africa through the support of SDEV. So by extension, we have established a regional center of competency for digital literacy and artificial intelligence in the public service. And that is the regional center of excellence that then will build the capacity of the entire public service of Kenya and also for the continent through the support of also SDEF. What we did, therefore, we developed in collaboration with Ministry of ICT and all other ministries, the entire partners in Kenya, as well as also the private sector, to bring the whole of, capacity building and digital literacy under one center of excellence, referred to as a regional center of excellence. Ours is not just the Kenyan no center of excellence, but we'll also build the competency of the region, because we have signed an MOU with over 36 African countries' schools of government, where then ultimately we'll bring them together to share the experience of Estonia, because we are now sharing the experience of Estonia to the world, so that then we bring the standard, the values, the trust, the implementation of digital footprint and the transformation through this kind of the training and the capacity building. So it is not just all of government, but it is all of society, all of the continent, and all of the world through the experience of Estonia. And that is what we are planning to establish through the support of Estonia and through SDEP, which we really appreciate.
Fantastic. And I know that you mentioned that the impact is across several nations. How do you see yourself as a frontier once it is established and we have also fulfilled the whole mandate of the whole of government approach? How do you foresee the role of Kenya School of Government also bridging the gap for other countries and also spreading out? What would be your action points in terms of moving across countries or across borders?
Thank you so much. One is to fully operationalize that center of excellence, referred to as a regional center of competency for digital literacy and artificial intelligence in the public sector. We are already having a partnership with SDEF. So what we are planning to do is not only build the competency of the public service of Kenya, but bring all the African together. For first time through this kind of an experience, we want to do the e-governance conference for the Africa in collaboration with SDEF, so that then the entire African region will then have a standard way of dealing with the digital implementation and the transformation through a standard benchmark approach that will bring about the change that is required in Africa. So what we are planning to do is then to roll out the African-wide digital literacy and transformation and artificial intelligence in Africa. Number two, we'll also bring the think tank of African together to develop a policy direction for as far as the digital literacy and artificial intelligence in Africa is concerned. And then number three, we will collaborate deeply and more collaboratively with the Estonian government through SDEV, so that then we also share the experience of Estonia to the world for a standard and full implementation and operationalization of the digital literacy in Africa and beyond.
Thank you, Dr. Any final words?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
For us, again, from Africa from Kenya, and to all of us here, the Kenya has started the journey toward the transformation of the digital literacy and artificial intelligence. And I listened to a beautiful presentation by the young, Estonian girls. They call it Squad. We want also to introduce the young leaders' digital literacy in Kenya, so that also we can be able to use what we refer to as a grassroots leadership, transformational digital literacy in Africa and also beyond, through such experience of our young girls, which was a beautiful presentation that we received. And thank you so much from our end.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very, very much. I normally like to say, you are as strong as your weakest link. And for Africa to be able to go beyond, we need to be able to take the weakest, take them to a next level so that we can support the next. So thank you very much, sir. And then next, I'd like to invite Faith Awuor from the eCitizen platform. Hi, Faith.
Hi,
You're
Victoria. How are you? Thank you.
I'm good. I wouldn't survive in this up here. So, number one, I'd like you to do a short introduction of who you are, what you do with the eCitizen platform. I mean, we've been talking about eCitizen quite a lot, so please introduce us and introduce us to your platform.
My name is Faith Awuor Onyango. I work for Immigration and Citizen Services under the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. We run the eCitizen platform, which is a unified platform that Victoria has talked about, and allow me to say both my principal secretary and the Director General eCitizen Services are in the room here today because we have come for the shared experience together. We run the single unified platform that brings all government systems, all government services under the same platform. As Victoria has shared, we realized that there are disjointed functions, disjointed, fragmented systems. All government systems were different. Everybody enjoyed their silo systems. And the president had seen a working system from the World Bank. eCitizen was introduced by the World Bank in 2014. And it was introduced for services that were problematic, like the passport registration, motor vehicle registration. And for the services that were first onboarded onto the eCitizen platform, they had worked. And the currency had shot, the collection had shot by 300%. So the president had seen eCitizen as a working system. So when the new government came into place in 2022, the first thing they did as an administration is to give a directive that all government services should then be onboarded onto the unified platform, the eCitizen platform, to enable user-friendly accessibility, to enhance government trust, to build and have all things under one single sign-on. You can access every government services in Kenya. The eCitizen platform has since onboarded over 22,000 services are available on the platform. When we started, we were at 375 services. So in the last 2 years, we have enabled 22,000 services to be accessed on the platform. It has become, it wasn't an easy journey, but we had the support of our president. And because we had the presidential support, all other ministries were directed to be part of the platform and to ensure their services are available on the platform.
Okay.
We have made the platform user-friendly, user-centric. We have enabled different interfaces. You can access the platform in Swahili, which is the common language we use in Kenya. We have enabled the system to be accessible even to people living with various challenges, hearing problems, and you can have the voice-enabled services. You can access it through any particular way you'd like. So eCitizen services are currently very accessible, very user-friendly, always available. In Kenya, we have different challenges. Accessibility of government services, because of our topography, one of our biggest challenges in Kenya is connectivity. Most of the rural Kenya do not have electricity. So attaining government services was such a challenge. You had to go to a physical government office to be given government services. as eCitizen, we are working on a way that people can access government services at grassroots.
And that's
we have,
where,
yeah.
that's where citizen-centricness come in.
Yeah.
I want to cut you short just a little bit so that you don't answer my question before I ask the question.
All right.
So where I want to go with this is from your position, especially with how there's now a new approach towards how government is supposed to work. How do you see the platform in coordinating these digital services and departments? And how do you see it work from your position, from an insider perspective? Remember, we talked about citizen-centric, we talked about interoperability.
Yeah.
So from your position, how do you see the coordination of departments? What are the challenges? What are the wins? I'd like you to share that even from our side of the world where the challenges that you mentioned are coming in. Yes.
Okay. I think we needed to integrate back-end systems for the various departments.
Okay.
That is the coordinated approach that we have taken, that we bring all departments together under one roof so that we speak the same language and we tell them why it's important for them to be onboarded onto the eCitizen platform. One, for themselves, because it makes accessibility of services very easy and their services will be easily available to the people. We have reduced costs because when we are on a single platform, they do not have to then go and develop their own single siloed platforms, but they can use the same resources. We can use the same resources to build their activities into the same platform. So integrating all of that has been part of the coordination that we have done as a department. It hasn't come easy because there has been resistance to change. Most people still feel as though when you bring services in a unified platform, you're taking away the power from them. But they would love to have the power of their own departments. So we are having a bit of a problem with change management. But we are doing that through training.
Exactly, where KSD comes in.
We are doing that through training so that we ensure both the citizens and the government departments are trained on how to embrace change.
Okay, that's fantastic. Now, the last question to you would be, in what ways do you think Kenya's shift towards citizen service delivery inspires collaboration? I know you mentioned challenges, but I'd want you to also speak on how are people inspired and what do you think it does to the citizen, and what's your outlook given the fact that you also work both with the providers and the citizens? What's your outlook? Is it inspiring collaboration? Is it inspiring change? And what do you think the outward look? If I ask you a year from now, what would be your outlook?
The digitalization of services under a unified platform, of course, encourages a lot of collaboration, public-private partnerships. The reason we are here together in Estonia today is out of those collaborative efforts and to make it even better for us. So even as government agencies, within the various government departments, we need to collaborate. So this has been a very good avenue for us to collaborate, to be innovative together. That innovation is not only driven by the government initiatives, but innovation can also be driven by members of the public. So we are running things like hackathons that would encourage innovation so that citizens can tell us through the platforms how to be more innovative to take care of their needs. Citizens can give us feedback. Through the feedback loops, they can talk to us through our platforms, our social media platforms, to tell us how then do we make the services more accessible to them and how do we make the services more better to them. We even can quickly reach out to citizens on what are their pain points. What are the bottlenecks they see within those services? So citizens can reach out to us and tell us what are their problems, and we quickly can address those challenges to make the system even better for us. So digitization and digitalization of services, of course, has very many benefits for us as government, within government, out of government, and across borders, so that SDEV can come. We collaborate to ensure that all the systems are well put in place, all the integrations and interoperable mechanisms are put into place to even help us mitigate the challenges we are having with legal gaps. the biggest challenge we are having is legal gaps.
Yeah.
We do not have the right legal frameworks to enable interoperability. So currently, our biggest challenge still is every of those organizations, though on a unified platform, still run their independent systems.
Okay.
So we have to have legal frameworks again that then will enable us to integrate and be interoperable.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Any final words, very quickly?
For us as eCitizen and working together with SDEV, we must say that a whole government approach is non-negotiable.
Yes.
It's part of the process for us because then it allows efficiency, it reduces costs, it enables us to work more effectively, to be more citizen-centric, because our approach is to get the citizens to enjoy their services and to ensure that services reach to them at all times. So we need to invest in digital skills for both the civil servants and for the citizens, and adopt user-friendly designs, and also to strengthen our cybersecurity and laws that govern cybersecurity so that we can work in a better ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to give just a few minutes for any questions, so I need to check. But thank you so much, and thank you for coming up on stage.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
We'd like to give a minute to check the questions. Just a quick moment. Okay, I cannot see any questions, so I'll wrap up. So we have learned from the Estonian experience that the ability to digitize and also digital transformation, a digital government is not merely an IT project. Yes, I don't know whether I'll be able to hear you. I'm not sure I'm allowed to take. I don't. We had to fill, and I think that was not communicated. There's a question, but it wasn't in the. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, madam?
Yeah, I just have to hear, and then I'll share.
You can hear it.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So my name is Shish Chaudhary. I am Secretary ICT Ministry of Government of Bangladesh. So my question to madam that about the interoperability issue, and since 16,000 services are coming under one platform.
Yes.
So whether there is a separate authority to control all the different departments, is there any authority and any law enacted to establish this authority? Now, question number one.
Okay.
Secondly, she said that.
Just a moment. Question number one: is there an authority or law enacted to be able to support all these services?
Yes.
Given the fact that we have an interoperability issue, but we have so many services online, is there some form of law or a body to govern all this?
Yes. Question number two. If something goes wrong, meaning that the 16,000 out of these 16,000 services, the general people are not getting, and there is a complaint, how to address all these things?
Okay. So the next question is, on all these services, if there's something that goes wrong within the... oh, you can hear him. Sorry. Guys, you all are not telling me you can hear him. But go on. I think the question is addressed towards Faith.
How do we...
Just, he can hear this.
Okay.
You can hear it here. Just address it now. Here.
So our biggest challenge yet is the lack of policy. We have a policy gap. We are not yet grounded in law, and we are working on it as a team to have ourselves enshrined in the law. We went fast and digitized the services without an anchoring law. So we are moving backwards to now get a law in place. I've told you we had the support of our president. So what we had then was the presidential goodwill. And you know, sometimes the president's directive supersedes the law of the land. So that is what we rode on. And we rode on the presidential directive, but we are quickly building a law to enable us to then have a governing structure around all the services. It's a major challenge.
Thank you. I'd like
Yes.
to also address, I'd like also Professor Nura to quickly address it
Yeah.
and say what are they doing in terms of now creating policies towards that question.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Under the all-of-government approach, what we are trying to do as a center of excellence in capacity building, we are bringing all the stakeholders together to do a policy evidence-based research
Yeah.
on what are some of the gaps.
Yeah.
And then through those gaps, we can be able to bring the stakeholders together, present a collaborative policy that then will address the pain point and the challenges in government. So that is basically as a center of excellence that we do under the research and policy evidence, guideline that will then bring about the change that is required in government.
I think we can catch up also for more in-depth conversations because I can see our time is up. But thank you so much, everybody, and have a fantastic day.